Man, when I had first heard that they were going to be doing a Grinch horror parody film, I was like, what? I'm totally down. I am on board. I mean, I figured it would just be Jim Carrey's Grinch, but more evil, right? More vile, more mean. And then just actually be a bloody horror film. That would have been, it sounds awesome. Why not? And then it stars David Howard Thornton playing the Grinch, right? And now he played Art the Clown from the Terrifier series, right? Terrifier 2 was just in theaters. If you haven't seen it, and you're a horror fan, you need to watch it. And then we did have recently that Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movie where they totally took the fucking Winnie the Pooh story and made it all crazy gruesome. So I haven't seen that yet. Totally got to watch it. But I'm totally down for this random wave of like indie horror film directors just coming out of woodworks with all these great little horror contributions. I mean, it's fantastic. I'm totally for it. But I will say the mean one, as fun and over the top and cheesy as it was, it did fall a little short. Now, I didn't realize that this was an unauthorized parody, so they don't actually have the rights to the Grinch, the story of how the Grinch stole Christmas. So, now that I know that, it makes sense why the film fell so short. But it was still a lot of fun. It was still very enjoyable. I mean, I would suggest you watch it for the simple fact that it was made. I mean, it's the Grinch. And it's funny because they don't call him the Grinch throughout the movie at all. He's never mentioned as the Grinch. He's always mentioned as the mean one, the vile one, whatever. So the story is similar in many ways. Like, it's not Whoville, it's Newville. Cindy is still Cindy, but she, the whole beginning when the Grinch ends up like coming and taking over Christmas, he ends up accidentally killing Cindy's mom and then, pretty much scarring her for life. And so she leaves, comes back after 20 years or whatever, and then she's back to, deal with her trauma, and then ends up getting wrapped into the Grinch killing people again. And it is a lot of fun. It's an interesting movie. It's definitely cheesy and it is definitely a B movie, but for younger kids and whatnot, it would, kids that like scary movies, this is definitely one that you can play for Christmas. Like, of course, adults are going to be like, the fuck is this? But even some adults, with enough, eggnog and fucking vodka or eggnog and rum, I think you'll be all right. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was definitely fun to watch. I will say my only real criticism of this film is that the Grinch didn't speak. Like, literally, the Grinch did not speak, and I thought that was such a missed opportunity because I assumed that he would speak, but I guess since it's unauthorized, they couldn't even have him speak because then it would, like, someone would, I guess, obviously compare him to Jim Carrey, and it's like, oh, you guess you can't, or compare him to the Grinch, but I guess you can't, even though that's technically who he is. So Universal, I think in like a couple years, you should help these guys remake the movie. Same actors, but just make it more brutal and make it fucking, like a legitimate Grinch film to add into the franchise, just because it's a genius idea. It really is. And David Howard Thornton playing the Grinch, he did a really good job. So if he was able to speak, I think that would have been great. I think it would have added so much, like, character to the Grinch. Even though he's not the Grinch, it would have just added character to his character. Like, he did a couple of the move, he moved around on his fingers and like, did a lot of like smiles and but it's like he was acting like Art the Clown almost. It was like the same type of mime action that he did with Art, he did for the Grinch. So it's like if he would have spoke, it would have just separated those two characters of his. They were more or less like the same almost, but it's still really fun, and I thank him for doing it, and even doing it. I'm glad that the film was even made. Like I said, it's just the appreciation is definitely there, and I think that's at least why people should see it in theaters, just to help them out and have them make more stuff, because Terrifier was great. This was this is definitely fun, so I can only imagine what they're gonna do next. One of the other things, there's this character Doc, and he was like this, like, he looked like Santa. He was this burly man, but it turned out he was just another victim of the mean one, of the Grinch. But I totally thought he was Santa, and just to throw that out there, I totally thought he was Santa, and I think it was a missed opportunity that he didn't turn out to be Santa. He didn't have to really be Santa. It could have just been alluded to at the end that, oh shit, that was fucking Santa. Like, he just disappeared with magic, or turned into snow, or something after the Grinch, after the ending with the Grinch. It would have been funny, but it's like, nah. So that would have been cool. Another missed opportunity, I'd say. And then also, I will say the only scene that was the most ridiculous scene for me is when Cindy's going through that fucking ridiculous montage of learning how to fight and like shoot. to battle the Grinch. I was like, what? Are you serious? Like, I made the joke with my friend that, it's supposed to be like maybe a week or two, maybe a month, I'm assuming, because no one gets that good at shooting and fighting like that and gets all buff. Like, she ends up having like arms and shit later. She's got a tank top on and you're like, damn, girl, you're actually kind of buff looking. You were like scrawny as shit when you got here. But I assumed that it was actually like a whole year that she was training. Like, she was there that Christmas 20 years later. And then it's actually the next year when she battles the Grinch. Like, a whole year goes by of her training and shit. Because there's no way she could train in like a month. Christmas, it's in the same time. It's in the month of December. There's no way that she could be training and get that good in like 24 hours to up as long as a fucking week. There's no way. But that was my only, those would be my only little criticisms and like, missed opportunities. But other than that, it was definitely a fun film. Bring the kids, because the blood is fucking even CGI. That was hilarious. I think I read somewhere some of the comments and like some of the posts that, as fun as the film was, CGI blood really has no place in a horror film. But again, that's why I say it's perfect for kids. You could show your kids on during the holidays and like, oh, don't be naughty or the Grinch will come and get you, and then just play the mean one for them and they'll be like, oh my God, especially if they like scary stuff. But yeah, like I said, for adults, of course, we are a little bit more hard to please in such senses like that. But yeah, so check it out, The Mean One. I guarantee that you will at least enjoy it for what it is, because you already know what it is going into it. It's the Grinch, but it's not really the Grinch, but it's definitely technically kind of sort of the Grinch. So check it out, The Mean One. Yeah, David Howard Thornton, thank you. Can't wait to see what you are next. This has been Ghost on the Craig. Thanks so much. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.